which is TLE. We know that TLE is a skill-based subject, and it requires demonstration a lot. It requires a lot of practical experiences, a lot of exposure to real-world problems. Okay, so TLE means we need to provide TLE to our students, total learning experience. Okay, and for that, our students view us also as TLE, tender loving educators. So as you can see, the core, the inner core of our specialization is actually experience. Okay, concrete experience. Okay, it is rather than the study of theories and concepts. But then these theories and concepts serves as foundations, because we could not have a specific skill without studying a theories or any ideas or concepts. Okay, so we cannot put, or we cannot have an action or a learning by doing without taking consideration on these facts and concepts. Okay, so let's take a look of this statement from David Cobb, which he states that learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. Yes, because the knowledge is strengthened by experience. When you apply your learnings, it becomes more meaningful, right? So let's talk about the learning cycles, the 4 learning cycles. These 4 learning cycles, it is a continuing process that shows how students, or shows how you learn, okay, in a certain thing. Okay, so first we have the first process, which is the concrete experience. Okay, when we say concrete experience, you participate in an experience, so meaning you do, okay, you do a certain thing. Next is the reflective observation, where you make sense of experience, you reflect. All right, next is meaning you think, okay, you think of your experience. Okay, next we have the abstract conceptualization, where you make generalizations and develop theories. Okay, so meaning you conceptualize, okay, or yeah. Next is we have the active experimentation, wherein you implement new actions, implement experiments with new ways. Okay, so meaning the summary here is that in the concrete experience you do, in the reflective observation you think, okay, and on the abstract conceptualization you conceptualize, and for the active experimentation you adopt. Okay, so do, think, conceptualize, and adapt. Okay, so let's have an example here. In a teaching practice where we are immersed in a actual classroom situation where we teach students, diba? We practice our profession. That's where concrete experience will enter. Okay, it is a experience. We experience teaching students. We experience handling a classroom. So that is a concrete experience. Okay, so the next cycle is reflective observation, where you reflect on your teaching. Okay, what went well, what didn't so well, diba? You reflect yourself based on your performance, based on what you did on the concrete experience. Okay, next is the abstract conceptualization. Here you think of new ways. Okay, you think of new you understand new ways, you want to improve your teaching style, so you think of new ways and approaches. Okay, so next is we have the active experimentation. When we say active experimentation, here wherein you implement, so experiments, the new approaches that you taught, the new understanding that you have learned. Okay, you try to integrate it now in your learning and your teaching practice. You want to apply it now in your teaching practice, and to improve, okay, for improvement or for betterment. Then the cycle repeats. Okay, the cycle repeats. So it doesn't necessary that you always start in the concrete experience. Okay, so you can start in any of the learning cycle. Okay, so next we have, let's talk about the Kolb's learning styles. When we say Kolb's learning styles, it discusses how a certain individual prefers to learn something. Okay, so it is divided into two dimensions. Okay, so first dimension, it's either you prefer doing or watching, and then the second dimension is that it's either you prefer feeling or thinking. Okay, so now let's talk about the first learning style, which is diverging. When we say diverging, it is more on feeling and watching. This learning style takes an original and creative approach rather than examining concrete experiences by the actions taken. Individuals tend to assess them for various perspectives. They value feelings and take an interest in others. Individuals who prefer this learning style tends to enjoy tasks such as brainstorming ideas and working collaboratively in groups. Yes, they prefer feeling and they are more feeling and watching. They can see things from different perspectives. Okay, they are visionary. They prefer to watch others rather than doing it. Okay, and then they prefer to collect informations and use their imaginations to solve problems. And then they like also working in groups, and they are very good in taking feedbacks. Okay, next we have the second learning style. We have the assimilating, which this learning style emphasizes on reasoning. Okay, individuals who demonstrate this learning style are able to review the facts and assess the experience as a whole. They tend to enjoy and design experiments and working on projects from start to completion. Okay, they are more on watching and thinking. Okay, they enjoy theories and ideas, but not or less interested in people. They are logical problem solvers. They are more interested in the logical theory of a thing rather than its practical application. Okay, they often works as technical experts. So what are these technical experts? So we have software engineers or else scientists, right? And then they actually love or they learn in reading and attending lectures. Okay, or they learn best on attending lectures. Next, we have the next learning style is the converging. Converging is this learning style highlights problem solving as an approach to learning. Individuals who prefer this learning style are able to make decisions and apply their ideas to new experiences. Unlike divergers, they tend to avoid people and perceptions, choosing instead to find technical solutions. And converging, this is actually a complete opposite of a diverging. Okay, so in converging, they are more on doing and thinking. They enjoy ideas and theories to they use knowledge to solve practical problems. Okay, they enjoy the doing or the application aspect of learning. Okay, also they like to apply their knowledge in a very hands-on way. Okay, next we have accommodating. Accommodating is this learning style is adaptable and intuitive. Yes, these individuals use trial and error to guide their experiences, prefer to discover the answers for themselves. They are able to alter their path based on the circumstance and generally have good people skills. They are more on doing and feeling. They are very hands-on. They love learning by doing. And they use their intuition to figure things out. Okay, they prefer to use their instinct rather than performing the raw detail logical analysis. And it doesn't mean that they use the logical aspect. Okay, because they usually rely on the findings of others. Okay, they rely on the findings of others. So there's still a logical basis, there's still a scientific basis of whatever they do. Okay, next. Okay, now so let's extrapolate the advantages and disadvantages of the Kolb's experiential learning theory. Okay, so first advantage is that it is flexible and open-minded. Yes, it is happy to be exposed to new situations, good at listening to others and grasping informations, good at asking or probing questions, business-like because it gets straight to the point, di ba? And then it is very teaching or technique oriented. For the disadvantages, it is very risky wherein you take unnecessary risk. And then usually in the implementation, it is not it is likable to get bored. Okay, it is likable to get bored in the implementation process. Okay, so it's slow to make up their minds and reach a decision. And then there's a low tolerance for uncertainty. And then intolerant of anything subjective or intuitive, tendency to seize on the first expedient solution to the problem. Alright, so let's have the conclusion for the Cobb's experiential learning theory. Active learning, research, and inquiry have an important role to play enhancing the quality of student learning, but they involve more than just doing. Recognizing the students have different preferred learning styles need to be built in the design of learning activities. That ends my discussion for today. I hope you learned something, and thank you for listening.